Hi, welcome back to God Aware. This week, I really wanted to talk about what it means to be aware of God, like the channel name says, being God aware, aware of God in our daily lives. You know, I heard something this week that really interested me. I heard that in Hebrew, there is no Hebrew word for spiritual, because to the Hebrew people, everything, a part of all life, was spiritual. And so this week I just wanted to kind of talk about, hearing God in everyday life and realizing that He's a part of everything we do. I know we hear all the time that, God is interested in every detail of your life, and, He knows the number of hairs on your head, and, if He's interested in the sparrows, then He's interested in every part of our lives. But sometimes I wonder how much we actually live like that, live knowing that God is interested in everything we do, in every part of our lives. So I just want to recount a couple of stories from my own personal experience lately. Earlier this month, I was getting ready to go to work with my wife, and something was bothering me, and I really didn't know what it was. Something was off, whether it was spiritual. I felt off. Something was wrong, and we were getting ready to go to work, so I just started praying, and we were praying in the car together all the way to work. And as we approached one intersection, it was really a blind intersection where there was a gas station on the corner and you couldn't see what was coming. But we heard sirens, and our light was green, so we continued going. But partway through the intersection, we saw that there was a fire truck approaching. And we got through okay, nothing happened, there was no crash or anything. But immediately after that, there was like a peace that came over, kind of a release in my spirit, that we realized, God didn't directly speak, you're going to watch out at this intersection at this time. But there was a discomfort in my spirit that I knew I had to pray, and we continued praying, and praying in the spirit, and who knows what would have happened if I had just kind of blown it off and ignored it and I'm just having a bad day. So I really want to bring home the point that being aware of God in your daily life, the consequences that it could have of not being aware of God, we don't even know what He has saved us from. Even a few weeks ago, it can be as simple as my wife had bought a dress for an event on a Saturday, and I think it was in the middle of the night on a Wednesday that I woke up and just the thought came to me, she needs to try on the dress. She needs to try on the dress. And we kind of ignored it. It was the middle of the night. But then the next morning, the Thursday morning, I mentioned it even to her sister, and I said, no, you need to try on the dress before the Saturday event. And when she tried on the dress was not the right size. It was not the way it was when it was bought. And so, but then we had time to go and get it altered and adjusted, and everything went well for the Saturday event. But just those simple moments of paying attention to your own thoughts, that, a thought that you realize this probably didn't come from my own mind, that this is God speaking to me in this moment. I think even yesterday, we're getting ready to go to a friend's house, and we're taking him a gift, a gift bag that had a bottle of sparkling juice in it. And as I went to pick it up, my wife said, oh, you should put your hand on the bottom, And as I picked it up, the bottom fell out of the bag, but I had my hand there to support the bottle so it didn't fall. And just those momentary thoughts, that it wasn't there a second before, but a thought that enters into your mind, that we need to start paying attention to those. That, Jesus says, my sheep know my voice. So those thoughts that come into your mind that may not originate with you, but because you're a Christian and Christ lives in you, they sound a lot like you. They sound a lot like your inner thought life. But to be aware of God, to be aware of when He's trying to speak to us, and He doesn't need to have a big show or, a word from the Lord or a vision or not even a prophet at times. He just needs that still small voice to get our attention, to know that we're aware of Him and His presence, that we're aware of Him wanting to be a part of our daily lives. Elijah in the book of Kings, God said, I'll stand here by this mountain, I will pass by. And so Elijah stood by the mountain, and first there was, a great wind, but God wasn't in the wind. And then there was a great earthquake, but Elijah said, that God wasn't in the earthquake. Then there was even a fire, and God wasn't in the fire. But then outside of the cave, or outside by the mountain, he heard a still small voice, a whisper. And it was God speaking to him. And then later on in the passage, God was able to give him direction on what to do next. So this week I just want to remind us that, God is in that still small voice. To pay attention to those inner thoughts. Pay attention, to the still small voice, those inner thoughts. It may be God trying to get your attention. It may be God speaking to you. Until next time, God bless.